He walked in quietly and said, "I found it on the ground and brought it back." The manager sneered, treating him like he didn't matter. But when someone at the window realized who he really was, hands began to tremble and everyone fell completely silent. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. The rain fell in cold, steady lines, turning the Chicago sidewalk into a dark mirror. Leo Ramirez pulled his thin jacket over his head and counted his steps on the cracks. 1, 2, 3. It was a Tuesday. His mom, Sarah, would be at her first job for another 3 hours. The apartment would be empty and quiet, except for the drip from the kitchen ceiling into the old pot. "Take the long way, Leo," his mom had said that morning, her voice tired. "No shortcuts." But the rain was cold and the long way was 5 more blocks. He turned into the alley behind the huge brick building of Henderson's department store. It was a faster way home. The dumpsters smelled of wet cardboard. He kept his head down, counting. Something dark and square lay in a puddle up ahead. It was not a rock. Leo stopped. He crouched down. It was a wallet, a black leather wallet, thick and expensive looking. Water beaded on its surface. Leo picked it up. It was heavy. He looked around the empty alley. He opened it. Inside were bills, many bills. All of them were $100. They were crisp and new. Behind the money were shiny silver credit cards with names he did not recognize. His heart beat very fast. His fingers felt cold and wet. He looked at the money. He tried to count it in his head. He could not. It was more money than he had ever held. He thought of his mom. He saw her hands red from washing dishes at the restaurant. He heard her sigh last night, looking at the broken oven that would not heat past 200 degrees. "It's okay, mijo," she had said. "We just won't bake any cakes." This money could fix the oven. It could buy a new one. This money could mean she did not have to work on Saturday for once. She could sleep in. She could rest. It was a simple thought. Take the money, put the wallet back in the puddle, walk away. No one saw him. No one would ever know. He stood there in the rain, water dripping from his hair. He looked at the wallet in his hand. Then he thought of his mom's face, not tired but sad. The sad look she got when she talked about doing things the right way, even when it was hard. "We don't take what isn't ours, Leo," she always said. "Our pride is worth more." This was not his money. It belonged to a person who was probably worried right now, a person who lost it. Leo took a deep breath. He closed the wallet. It was not a decision anymore. It was just what he had to do. The big glass doors of Henderson's were right there, at the end of the alley. He would go in. He would give the wallet to someone who worked there. They would find the owner. It was simple. He pushed open the heavy door. Warm, dry air hit his face. The store was huge and bright, full of smells of perfume and new clothes. People in clean, dry coats looked at him. He was wet. His shoes made a squeaky sound on the shiny floor. He saw a big desk with a sign that said customer service. A man in a suit stood behind it. Leo walked over, his heart pounding again. The man looked up. He had a narrow face and thin lips. His eyes looked Leo up and down, from his wet hair to his old sneakers. "Can I help you?" the man asked. His voice was not friendly. Leo held out the black wallet. "I found this, outside, in the alley, in a puddle." The man, whose name tag said Mr. Henderson, did not smile. He snatched the wallet from Leo's hand. He opened it. His eyes got wide for a second when he saw the money. Then his face changed. It got hard and mean. He looked at Leo, then back at the wallet. "You found this," he said. It was not a question. "Yes, sir. Just now. In the alley." Mr. Henderson's laugh was a short, mean sound. He held up the wallet. "Do you think I'm stupid, kid? This is a very old trick. You steal a wallet. You get scared. You pretend to find it to avoid trouble." Leo's mouth fell open. "No, I didn't steal it. I found it." "Sure you did," Mr. Henderson said, his voice getting louder. People nearby stopped to look. "A boy like you, with a wallet like this? I know a thief when I see one." Leo felt his face get hot. His hands began to shake. "I'm not lying, please. I was just trying to do the right thing." "The right thing?" "Mister," Henderson shouted. He pointed a finger at Leo. "The right thing is to call security. We have a thief here trying a clever trick." A large man in a uniform appeared. Mr. Henderson nodded at him. "This boy is a thief, Escort him from the premises, now." The security guard grabbed Leo's arm. His grip was tight. "Come on, kid." "But I didn't do anything," Leo cried out. His voice sounded small and scared. The people who were staring did not help him. They just watched. The guard pulled him toward the big glass doors. Leo stumbled, his sneakers slipping on the floor. He saw Mr. Henderson sneer. He saw the people looking at him like he was trash. The guard pushed him through the doors and back out into the cold rain. "Don't come back," the guard said. The door closed. Leo stood on the sidewalk, alone again. The rain soaked through his jacket. The shame was a hot feeling in his chest, worse than the cold. He tried to do the right thing. He tried to be honest, and now he was a thief. He stared at the glittering window of the store, water and tears mixing on his face, not knowing that someone had seen everything. The cold rain soaked through Leo's jacket, but the heat in his face was worse. He stared at the closed glass doors of Henderson's. People inside moved past the windows, not looking at him. He was just a wet boy on the sidewalk, a thief. He turned to go home, his shoulders hunched. What would he tell his mom? He did the thing she would have wanted, and it ended in shame. His steps were slow. Behind him, the store doors opened with a soft whoosh of warm air. "Young man." The voice was low and calm, but it cut through the sound of the rain. Leo turned around. A tall man with silver hair stood in the doorway. He wore a long, dark coat that looked expensive and dry. His face was serious, with pale eyes that were fixed on Leo. He did not look like a shopper. "Yes, sir." Leo's voice was shaky. "Did you find that wallet in the alley?" the man asked. Leo nodded, afraid. "Was this more trouble? Was this the wallet's owner?" "I did. I tried to give it back. I wasn't stealing it." "I know you weren't," the man said. His eyes moved from Leo to the inside of the store. They seemed to get colder. "I saw you find it. I saw you walk in here to return it. I saw what happened next." Leo did not know what to say. He just stood there. The man's jaw tightened. He looked at Leo. "What is your name?" "Leo. Leo Ramirez." "My name is Arthur Caldwell." He said it like it was a name Leo should know. Leo did not know it. Arthur Caldwell looked past Leo into the store. "Come with me, Leo." "Back in there?" Leo asked. His heart started to pound again. "Yes, back in there." Arthur Caldwell held the door open. Leo, confused and scared, walked back into the bright, warm store. The people who had been staring before were still there. They looked at the wet boy, then at the tall, serious man behind him. They began to whisper. Mr. Henderson was still at the customer service desk, talking to a woman. He looked up. He saw Leo. His face turned red with anger. Then he saw Arthur Caldwell. His anger vanished. It was replaced by pure fear. His mouth fell open. "Uncle Arthur." Mr. Henderson's voice was a squeak. Arthur Caldwell did not answer him. He walked to the center of the open floor, near the perfume counters. His steps were slow and firm. Everyone in the store stopped talking. The only sound was the soft store music. Arthur looked at Mr. Henderson. He did not raise his voice, but every person could hear him. "Hank, come here." Mr. Henderson, Hank, walked over. He looked small now. "Uncle Arthur, I can explain. This boy had a stolen wallet. He was trying a common scam." "Be quiet," Arthur said. The two words were like ice. Hank shut his mouth. Arthur Caldwell turned and pointed at Leo, who stood dripping on the floor. "This young man's name is Leo Ramirez. He found a lost wallet containing a large sum of money. He brought it into this store, the closest place of business, to return it to its rightful owner. He performed an act of honesty." He turned his pale eyes back to Hank. You took the wallet. You did not thank him. You did not try to find the owner. You accused him of theft. You called him a thief in front of all these people. You had him thrown out into the rain." Hank's face was white. I was just protecting the store's interests." "You were protecting nothing," Arthur Caldwell said, his voice still quiet and terrible. "You were bullying a child because you could, because he looked poor to you. I know this story. I have lived this story." For a second, the old man's eyes looked far away. Then they focused on Hank again. "You are not just a bad manager. You are a disgrace to your family's name. You are fired. Leave this store, now." Hank stood frozen. His hand shook. "You can't, my father." The family. Now, Arthur Caldwell repeated. Hank Henderson looked at the staring faces of the customers and workers. He saw no help there. He straightened his suit jacket, a useless move, and walked quickly toward the doors without looking back. The crowd parted to let him through. The store was completely silent. Arthur Caldwell walked over to Leo. He put a hand on Leo's wet shoulder. It was a firm, steady weight. You told the truth, Arthur said to Leo, his voice much kinder now. That is a rare thing, and it should have a reward, not an insult. Leo looked up at the man. He was not scared of him anymore. He felt a rush of relief so strong it made his eyes water. Thank you, sir. Arthur gave his shoulder a gentle pat. Come with me, son. Let's get you out of these wet clothes. Let's get you home. The black car was silent and warm. Leo sat in the back seat, his wet clothes feeling heavy and strange against the soft leather. He watched the rainy streets of Chicago slide by the tinted window. Arthur Caldwell sat beside him, not saying anything for a few blocks. Are you warm enough, Leo? Arthur finally asked. Yes, sir. Thank you. Leo kept his hands in his lap. He did not know what to do with them. You must be wondering who I am, Arthur said. Hank called me uncle, but that is just a formality. My sister was his mother. I am Arthur Caldwell. I own Henderson's. All of them. Leo's eyes went wide. He owned the whole store, the huge building they just left. I saw everything from across the street. Arthur continued, his voice calm. I was in my car. I saw you find the wallet. I saw you look at the money. I saw the moment you decided to do the right thing. It was clear on your face. He looked out his window. A long time ago, I was a boy with nothing. I was accused of taking something I did not take. No one believed me. No one stood up for me. I promised myself that if I ever saw that happen to someone else, I would stand up. Leo did not know what to say. Thank you for believing me. You did not need me to believe you. You were telling the truth. Arthur turned to look at him. Where do you live, Leo? Humboldt Park, on Kedzie Avenue. Arthur nodded to the driver, a man in a suit who had not spoken. The car moved smoothly through the traffic. Do you live with your parents? Just my mom, my dad. He's not around anymore. Arthur was quiet for a moment. And what does your mother do? She works 2 jobs, one at an office in the morning, one at a restaurant at night. Leo said it without thinking, then wondered if he should have. Arthur Caldwell just nodded slowly. A hard-working woman. You must be very proud of her. I am, Leo said, his voice firm. And what do you want for your future, Leo? Leo shrugged. He looked at his wet sneakers on the clean floor mat. I don't know. Go to college maybe. Get a good job. Help my mom. A good goal, Arthur said. The car turned onto Leo's street. The buildings were older here, with small apartments above family shops. The car stopped in front of Leo's building. It looked shabbier than usual next to the sleek black car. Arthur reached into his coat pocket. He took out a simple white business card. On it was just a name, Arthur Caldwell, and a phone number. This is my private number. If you need anything, you call it. Do you understand? Anything at all. Leo took the card. It felt thick and expensive. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Thank you, Leo, for showing an old man that honesty still exists. Arthur offered a small, kind smile. Now go see your mother. Tell her what happened. She will want to know. Leo got out of the car. He stood on the sidewalk and watched the car glide away. He clutched the business card in his hand. Then he ran up the stairs to his apartment. His key was still in his pocket. He opened the door. The smell of rice and beans cooking on the stovetop met him. His mom, Sarah, came out of the small kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She stopped when she saw him. Leo, you're soaked, and so late. I was worried. Her eyes were full of concern. Mom, something happened. The words tumbled out. He told her everything. The wallet, the mean manager, the rich man who saw it all, firing the manager, the quiet car ride home. He showed her the business card. Sarah listened, her face going from worry to shock to fear to relief. She pulled him into a hug, wet clothes and all. Oh, mijo, I'm so sorry that man was so cruel to you. She held him at arm's length. And this Mr. Caldwell, he was kind? He was. He said he believed me because he was once accused like that. Sarah took the card and studied it. Her eyebrows went up. Caldwell. Arthur Caldwell. She whispered the name. She walked to their small table where an old laptop was open. She typed the name. Her hand went to her mouth. She turned the screen to Leo. There was a picture of Arthur Caldwell looking serious in a suit next to an article. The headline said, "Retail billionaire Arthur Caldwell keeps low profile." Billionaire, Leo whispered. The word felt too big for the small kitchen. He owns everything, Leo, not just one store. Sarah sat down, looking stunned. Why would a man like that drive you home himself? He said he wanted to stand up for me. Sarah looked at her son, then at the card, then back at the screen. She let out a long, slow breath. The worry was back in her eyes, mixed with something else, a deep caution. This is a very powerful man, Leo. A kind act from a powerful man is a gift, but we must be very, very careful. Leo nodded. He understood being careful. Their whole life was built on being careful. He put the business card on the table. It looked out of place next to the grocery store coupons. Outside, the rain finally stopped. The strange afternoon felt like a dream. But the card on the table was real. The memory of the manager's mean laugh was real. And the quiet, powerful voice of Arthur Caldwell saying, "You told the truth," was the most real thing of all. The next morning, the sun was out. Leo was spreading peanut butter on toast when his mom's phone rang. She looked at the screen. Her eyes got wide. "It's a reporter," she whispered, "from the Tribune." "Answer it," Leo said, his mouth full. Sarah answered. "Hello?" She listened. "Yes, this is she." She listened more. "He's here." She held the phone out to Leo. "He wants to talk to you." Leo wiped his hands and took the phone. "Hello?" A man's cheerful voice boomed through. "Leo, Michael Shore, Chicago Tribune. We heard about what happened yesterday at Henderson's, about Arthur Caldwell himself stepping in. Is it true?" Yes, it's true." "Fantastic. We're running a story. Billionaire rewards honest teen. Can we send a photographer to your home this afternoon?" Leo looked at his mom. She was shaking her head slowly, her face worried. But he also saw something else in her eyes, a little bit of pride. He nodded to her. She closed her eyes for a second, then nodded back. "Okay," Leo said into the phone. The rest of the day was a blur. A photographer came and took pictures of Leo outside their building. Then at 3 o'clock, a different black car arrived. A woman in a suit got out. "Leo? Sarah? I'm Helen, Mr. Caldwell's assistant. He has an announcement. He would like you to be there." They got in the car. It did not take them home. It took them back to Henderson's department store on State Street. But this time, the front of the store was different. There were cameras, lots of cameras, and a small crowd of people. A red ribbon was stretched across the main doors. Arthur Caldwell stood in front of the ribbon. He saw Leo and smiled. He waved them over. Leo's heart was beating fast. His mom held his hand tightly. A man with a microphone spoke loudly. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Mr. Arthur Caldwell has a special announcement." Arthur Caldwell stepped up to a cluster of microphones. He looked out at the crowd, then at Leo. "Yesterday," he began, his calm voice amplified, "a very simple thing happened. A young man found a lost item. He chose to return it. In return for his basic decency, he was mistreated by someone in a position of authority." He paused. The crowd was silent. "That young man is Leo Ramirez. His character is a lesson to all of us. In a world that often rewards the opposite, he chose integrity." He turned fully to Leo. "Leo, to thank you for reminding this city of its best values, I am establishing a college scholarship fund in your name. The initial amount is $50,000. The crowd gasped. Camera flashes went off like fireworks. Leo felt his legs go weak. $50,000. He heard his mom suck in a sharp breath next to him. Arthur continued, "And from this day forward, this store will honor that spirit. We are launching the Chicago Honest Youth Award with Leo as its first recipient." He took a giant pair of scissors and cut the red ribbon. People clapped. A reporter shoved a microphone in Leo's face. "Leo, how do you feel?" Leo blinked. He looked at Arthur's encouraging smile. He looked at his mom's tear-filled eyes. I feel surprised. I just gave back a wallet." The reporter laughed. "You're a hero, kid." The next 2 days were more blur. The story was on the local news. Leo and his mom watched it on their small TV. Dubbed the Honest Boy of Chicago, 14-year-old Leo Ramirez's act of integrity has earned him a major reward from billionaire philanthropist Arthur Caldwell. Then, an invitation came from the mayor's office. They went to City Hall. A different crowd of cameras was there. The mayor shook Leo's hand and gave him a large brass key on a velvet pillow. "A symbolic key to our city," the mayor said, smiling for the cameras. "We are proud of you, young man." That night, in their quiet apartment, the key sat on the kitchen table. The noise was finally gone. Sarah made tea. She was quiet. "Mom, are you okay?" Leo asked. She sat down. She looked at the key. She looked at Leo. "It is so much money, Leo. It is a miracle. It means you can go to any college. It means security." She reached out and held his hand. "But this key? All those cameras? That man, Mr. Caldwell, he called you a lesson. I am happy, but I am also scared. Our lives are small and quiet. This is not small or quiet." Leo nodded. He looked at the key. It was heavy and cold. He thought about the manager's red, angry face. He was somewhere out there. Leo had a scholarship and a key to the city. But for the first time, he felt like he had also taken a step onto a very high, very shaky ladder, and he could not see the ground anymore. 3 days after the ceremony at City Hall, the phone rang. It was Helen, Arthur Caldwell's assistant. "Mr. Caldwell would like to invite you and your mother to his home for dinner on Saturday," she said. Her voice was polite but firm. "A car will pick you up at 6 o'clock. Sarah agreed, her voice careful. When she hung up, she let out a long breath. "We cannot say no, Leo, but we must be polite and grateful, and we must not get too comfortable." On Saturday evening, the black car took them to a part of Chicago Leo had only seen in movies. The houses were huge, set far back from the street behind tall gates. Arthur Caldwell's house was made of gray stone. It looked more like a museum than a home. A woman led them through a quiet, vast hallway to a room with a fireplace. Arthur stood up from a large chair. He was wearing a soft-looking sweater. He smiled. "Sarah, Leo, thank you for coming." He shook Sarah's hand. "Your son is a remarkable young man." "Thank you, Mr. Caldwell," Sarah said. Her smile was tight. "Please, call me Arthur. Come sit. Dinner will be ready soon." They sat in big, deep chairs. The room was so quiet, Leo could hear the clock ticking on the mantel. Arthur looked at Leo. "How has school been this week, Leo? It must be difficult with all the attention." "It's okay," Leo said. "Some kids keep asking about the money." "Money is a tool, Leo. It is not interesting. People are interesting." Arthur leaned forward. "Tell me about yourself. What do you like to do?" Leo talked about school, about liking math, about watching baseball. Arthur listened, nodding slowly. "And your father?" Arthur asked gently. "Does he live in Chicago?" Leo felt his shoulders tense. He saw his mom sit up straighter. "No," Leo said. "He left a long time ago. We don't see him." Arthur's face softened. He looked sad. "I am sorry to hear that. It is a hard thing for a boy." He was quiet for a moment, looking into the fire. "I had a son. His name was David. He is gone now too." The air in the room felt heavier. "I'm sorry," Leo whispered. Arthur waved his hand as if clearing the thought away. "That was a long time ago, but you remind me of him. He had a good heart, like you." He stood up. "Before dinner, I have something for you, Leo." He walked to a table and picked up a slim silver box. He handed it to Leo. "For your schoolwork." Leo opened the box. Inside was a new laptop. It was the thinnest, nicest computer he had ever seen. "Mr. Caldwell? Arthur, this is too much," Sarah said quickly. Her voice was strained. "It is a gift, to help with his studies. The scholarship is for the future. This is for now." Arthur's tone did not allow for argument. "Please, accept it." Leo looked at his mom. She gave a tiny, helpless nod. "Thank you," Leo said, but the box felt heavy in his hands. Dinner was served in a room with a table long enough for 20 people. They sat at one end. The food was delicious, but Leo was too nervous to taste much. Arthur asked more questions about their lives, about Sarah's jobs. He was always polite, but Leo noticed his mom only gave short, careful answers. When the car brought them home, the apartment felt small and dark. Sarah turned on the kitchen light and put the kettle on. "He is a lonely old man," she said, not looking at Leo. He lost his son. He sees something in you. That is a very heavy thing, mijo. He's just being nice, Leo said, placing the laptop box on the table. He is being more than nice. He is pulling you into his world. A laptop is a big gift. It makes me nervous. She turned to face him. You must be grateful, but you must also remember who we are. We cannot owe him. The next day at school, Leo told his best friend Maya about the dinner. They were eating lunch in the cafeteria. He gave you a laptop? Just like that? Maya's eyes were wide with disbelief. Yeah, it's super nice. Maya shook her head. Leo, that's weird. That's majorly weird. A billionaire invites you to his creepy quiet house, asks about your dad, gives you a super expensive gift. That's not just being nice. That's like a movie where the nice old guy turns out to be a villain. He's not a villain, Leo said, but his voice lacked conviction. He remembered the deep, quiet sadness in Arthur's eyes when he spoke about his son. He remembered the firm way he handed over the laptop, leaving no room to say no. He felt special, chosen. But under that feeling, like a cold stone in his stomach, was the trapped feeling his mom talked about. Arthur's kindness felt like a door closing softly behind him, locking him into a room he did not fully understand. A week after the dinner, Leo was taking out the trash. It was almost dark. As he lifted the lid of the big bin behind his apartment building, a movement across the street caught his eye. A car was parked under a streetlight. It was an older, tan sedan. The man inside was just sitting there, looking at the building. At Leo's building. Leo squinted. The man had a round face, thinning hair. It was Hank Henderson, the manager from the store. Leo dropped the trash bag into the bin and quickly stepped back into the shadows by the door. His heart thumped. He peeked out. Hank was still there. He wasn't getting out. He was just watching. Leo ran back upstairs. He burst into the apartment. Mom! Sarah was folding laundry on the couch. What's wrong? You're white as a sheet. That man, the manager, he's outside, in his car, just sitting there. Sarah dropped the shirt she was holding. She walked to the window and looked down through the blinds. Her back went stiff. Are you sure? Yes, it's him. She let the blind fall back. Okay, he is probably just angry. He lost his job because of what happened. He might blame you. She put her hands on Leo's shoulders. We do not go outside alone after dark. We keep the doors locked. If we see him again, we call the police. Do you understand? Leo nodded, but the safe feeling from the scholarship was gone. It was replaced by a new cold feeling in his stomach. 2 days later, Leo was on the new laptop. He was checking his email. He saw a new message from an address he didn't know. The subject line said, "Not a hero." He opened it. The message was short. It said, "You think you're special? You're just a puppet. You ruined my life. You will see." There was no name, but Leo knew. He quickly deleted the email. He didn't tell his mom. She had enough to worry about. He just sat at the table, staring at the blank screen, his hands cold. The next afternoon, he was walking home from the corner store with Maya. She was talking about a new video game. Leo wasn't listening. He was looking around at every parked car. "Leo, hello?" Maya snapped her fingers in front of his face. "You're being super weird." "Sorry," he lowered his voice. "That man, the one who got fired, he's been watching our apartment. He sent me a mean email." Maya stopped walking. "What?" "Leo, that's not just weird, that's scary. You have to tell your mom. You have to tell the police." "I told my mom about him being outside. She said to be careful. I didn't tell her about the email. She'll just freak out more." "She should freak out," Maya said. "This is like stalker stuff. What does he want?" "He said I ruined his life. I guess he wants me to feel bad." "Or worse," Maya said quietly. She looked around the street, suddenly nervous too. "My dad says when people lose everything, they get desperate. Be careful, Leo. Seriously." That night, Leo lay in bed. He heard every little sound. A car door shutting outside made him sit straight up. He looked out his window. The street was empty. He thought about the two men, Arthur Caldwell, who gave him everything and asked for his time and his story in return, and Hank Henderson, who wanted to take everything away because he had lost his job. He was stuck in the middle. The good feelings from the reward were all mixed up now. The money felt real. The key to the city felt heavy. But the fear felt the most real of all. The fear of the man in the car and the confused, trapped feeling when Arthur gave him a gift he could not refuse. He was the honest boy of Chicago, but he was starting to feel like he was living a lie, smiling for cameras while looking over his shoulder for a tan sedan. He pulled the covers up higher, listening to the distant sounds of the city, feeling more alone than he had before he found the wallet. A large, flat package wrapped in brown paper was leaning against the Ramirez's apartment door when Leo got home from school. His name was written on it in neat, strong handwriting. There was no return address. He brought it inside. His mom was at her evening job. He put the package on the table and opened it carefully. Inside was a book. It was very old. The cover was dark blue leather, worn soft at the edges. The title, stamped in faded gold, read, "Asterisk, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Asterisk." A small white card was tucked into the front. "Leo, I thought you might enjoy this. It was my son David's favorite book when he was your age. Arthur C." Leo ran his fingers over the cover. He opened it gently. The pages were yellow and smelled like dust and old paper. In the top corner of the first page, in a boy's messy handwriting, was the name Asterisk David Caldwell Asterisk. It felt strange to hold something that belonged to Arthur's dead son. It felt private. But it was also a gift, so Leo took it to the couch and started to read. He was a few chapters in when he turned a page and something fluttered out. It was a single sheet of white paper, folded in thirds. It had been tucked deep into the spine of the book. Leo picked it up. The paper was newer than the book. It felt crisp. He unfolded it. It was a letter, written by hand. The writing was messy and slanted, like the person was in a hurry or upset. At the top was a date from 7 years ago. Leo's eyes went to the bottom. It was signed, Asterisk David Asterisk. His heart started to beat faster. He began to read. "Asterisk Dad, I found the files. The old ones in the locked drawer. You said they were lost. You lied. I know about the land in Ohio. I know about the families you pushed out. I read the memos about the payoffs to the inspector. Your money can't buy the truth. It just hides it for a while. I saw what you did to those people to get this empire. I can't live with it. I can't live in this house you built on so many lies. I'm leaving tonight. Don't try to find me. You can't fix this with a check." David Asterisk Leo read it again and again. The words seemed to buzz on the page. "Asterisk, I saw what you did to those people. Your money can't buy the truth. I can't live with it." The room felt very cold. Leo looked at the old book on his lap, Arthur's son's favorite book. Arthur had given it to him, not knowing this letter was still inside. David had left. Arthur said his son was gone. He said it was an accident. But this letter didn't sound like someone leaving for a trip. It sounded like someone running away from a terrible secret, from his own father. Was Arthur's son's death really an accident? The kind, sad eyes of Arthur Caldwell flashed in Leo's mind. Then he remembered the firm hand on his shoulder, the way Arthur gave gifts that could not be refused, the way he had fired Hank without blinking. "Asterisk, I know about the families you pushed out." Leo folded the letter quickly. He hid it inside his math textbook. He put Asterisk Tom Sawyer Asterisk back in its box. He didn't want to touch it. His mom came home an hour later. She was tired. "What's in the box, mijo?" "A book, from Mr. Caldwell, an old one that was his son's." Sarah's face softened for a second, then the worry returned. "That is a very personal gift, Leo." "Yeah," Leo said. He couldn't look her in the eye. "It is." He wanted to tell her about the letter. He wanted to show her. But the words stuck in his throat. If he told her, she would make him give it back. She would call Arthur. Everything would blow up. The scholarship, their future, all because of a piece of paper in an old book. What if David was wrong? What if he was just angry? What if Arthur was a good man who made some mistakes long ago? But the words in the letter felt true. They felt desperate. Leo went to his room. He took the letter out of his math book and read it one more time. He felt a new kind of fear, deeper than his fear of Hank Henderson. This wasn't a man in a car. This was a secret in the heart of the man who held his future in his hands. He hid the letter under his mattress. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, holding two terrible secrets. Hank's anger outside his door and Arthur's secret, now under his bed. The honest boy was learning how many lies could hide behind one good deed. The library closed at 8 o'clock. Leo had stayed late to work on a history project, using the quiet and the computers. His mom thought he was at Maya's. He walked out into the cool evening air, his backpack heavy with books. The public parking garage next to the library was mostly empty. Leo cut through it as a shortcut to his bus stop. His footsteps echoed in the concrete space. The lights hummed overhead, some of them flickering. He was halfway through when a voice came from between two tall vans. "There you are." Leo froze. Hank Henderson stepped out into the open. He looked worse than he had in the store. His clothes were wrinkled. His eyes were red. He was chewing on something. Leo's whole body went cold. He looked toward the exit. It was too far to run. "Don't," Hank said. His voice was rough. "I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to talk." "Leave me alone," Leo said. His voice cracked. "I can't," Hank said. He took a step closer. He didn't smile. "You think he's a saint, don't you? Arthur Caldwell, the great man who saved you." Leo didn't answer. He thought of the letter under his mattress. "He ruined me," Hank said. The words spilled out. "My job, my family name, for a TV headline. He used you to look good. He uses everyone. He's using you right now." "He gave me a scholarship," Leo said, but it sounded weak. "He gave you a leash," Hank snapped. He took a deep, shaky breath. He pulled a crumpled envelope from his jacket. "I worked for that man for 30 years. I saw things. I kept quiet. After he fired me, I went looking, in my old files." He held out the envelope. Leo didn't take it. "It's copies, old financial records, from 25 years ago. They show he bribed a city official in Cleveland to force people out of their homes so he could build a store. He paid off the housing inspector. He made it look like their buildings were unsafe. Those people lost everything. He did it." Leo stared at the dirty envelope. Asterisk, "I know about the families you pushed out." David's words were in his head. "Why are you telling me?" Leo whispered. "Because you're the honest boy," Hank said, and his laugh was a bitter sound. "You're his shiny new thing. If you go to the news, if you tell them you have proof of what he did, they'll listen to you. They won't listen to me. I'm just a bitter, fired guy. But you're the hero." "You want me to help you?" Leo couldn't believe it. "I want you to help yourself." Hank's voice rose. "Before he's done with you, he finds a person, he makes them feel special, he gets what he wants from them, then he throws them away. Like he threw me away, like he threw his own son away." Leo's breath caught. "What about his son?" Hank's eyes narrowed. He saw Leo's reaction. "You know something, don't you? I don't know what happened to David." "Nobody does, but he left, and he never came back. Arthur doesn't like loose ends, kid, or people who make him look bad." He shoved the envelope into Leo's hands. Leo flinched but held it. "Look at the papers, then decide. Help me tell the truth about him, or keep playing his good little boy. But remember, when you're not useful anymore, you'll end up like me, or worse." Hank turned and walked away. His footsteps echoed, then faded. Leo stood alone under the flickering light, holding the envelope. It felt heavy, like the key to the city. But this was a key to a different door. A dark one leading into Arthur Caldwell's past. He had two secrets now, a letter from a dead son, and an envelope from a broken man. Both of them said Arthur was a liar. Leo shoved the envelope deep into his backpack, next to his library books. He walked out of the garage fast, his heart pounding, feeling the eyes of both men on his back. The envelope and the letter sat under Leo's mattress, side by side. They felt like they were burning a hole through the bed. He did not sleep. He stared at the ceiling, counting the cracks he knew by heart. In the morning, his mom noticed. "You look terrible, mijo. Did you not sleep?" "I have a lot of homework," Leo said, pushing his eggs around his plate. She sat down across from him. "Is it that man? Hank? Have you seen him again?" "No," Leo said. It was only half a lie. He hadn't seen him since the garage. "It is more than that," Sarah said softly. Her eyes searched his face. "Is it Mr. Caldwell? Did something happen?" Leo wanted to tell her. The words were right there. Asterisk. He might be a bad man. His son said so. Hank has proof. But he saw the dark circles under her own eyes. He saw the way she looked at the new laptop, not as a gift, but as a weight. If he told her, it would all collapse. The scholarship money was already in a special bank account, but could Arthur take it back? Would he, if Leo accused him? No, Leo said again, his voice thick. Nothing happened. Her phone buzzed on the table. She looked at it and sighed. It's him, Arthur. He wants to know if we can come to a baseball game on Saturday. Box seats. You should say yes, Leo said quickly. Too quickly. Leo, he's just being nice, Mom. It's just a game. The words tasted sour. She studied him for a long moment. Then she picked up the phone and typed a reply. Okay, we will go. Later in his room, Leo took out the envelope. He opened it. The papers inside were copies of old accounting sheets and memos. The words were hard to understand, full of legal terms, but some phrases were clear. Facilitator payment, property condemnation, housing inspection override. At the bottom of one page was a scribbled note. AC approved, make it clean. He thought of the families in Cleveland. He imagined them being told their homes were not safe. He imagined them having to leave. Also, Arthur Caldwell could build a store. He put the papers away. He felt sick. On Saturday, they went to the game. Arthur's box was high above the crowd, with soft seats and unlimited food. Arthur was in a good mood. He talked about baseball like he was talking about an old friend. This is wonderful, Arthur. Thank you, Sarah said, her voice always polite. It is my pleasure. It is so good to have young people around. Arthur smiled at Leo. How is school? How is the laptop working? It's great, thank you. Leo tried to smile back. He watched Arthur's hands, old and spotted, as they straightened a napkin on the table. A small, precise movement. Good, good. Arthur looked out at the field, his smile fading a little. You know, David loved games like this. He loved the simplicity of it. You throw the ball, you hit the ball. The rules do not change. The name hung in the air. Leo's mouth went dry. He thought of the letter. Asterisk, I can't live with it. That's nice, Leo managed to say. Arthur looked back at him, his pale eyes kind and sad. You are a good boy, Leo. You have a pure heart. Do not let the world change that. The words felt like a trap. Leo just nodded. That night, lying awake again, he knew he had to choose. The choice was simple and terrible. If he went to the news with the letter and Hank's papers, he would tell the truth. But Arthur would be angry. The scholarship might disappear. The money that meant his mom could stop working 2 jobs would be gone. They would be back where they started, but with a powerful enemy. If he said nothing, the money was safe. His future was safe. But he would be helping a man who hurt people. He would be lying every time he smiled for a camera, and Hank was getting more desperate. What would he do next? Leo was stuck in the middle. The honest boy was not honest anymore. He was hiding secrets. To protect his mom, he had to lie. To tell the truth, he had to hurt her. He pulled his pillow over his head, wishing he had never seen the black wallet in the rainy alley. He could not carry it anymore. The weight of the 2 secrets was breaking him. The next morning, a Saturday, Leo waited until his mom had finished her coffee. She was looking at the bills on the table, her forehead creased with worry. Mom, he said. His voice was quiet. I have to tell you something. She looked up. She saw his face, and her own face filled with fear. What is it? Leo went to his room. He brought back the folded letter from David Caldwell and the envelope from Hank Henderson. He placed them on the table next to the bills. He told her everything, about finding the letter in the book, about Hank cornering him in the garage, about the old papers that talked about bribes and pushing families out of their homes. Sarah listened without saying a word. Her hand covered her mouth. When he finished, she reached out and took the letter. She read it slowly. Then she looked at the old financial papers. For a long time, the kitchen was silent. You have been carrying this alone, she finally said. Her eyes were shining with tears. Oh, Leo, I was scared, he whispered. The scholarship, our future. Sarah shook her head. She took his hands. Mijo, listen to me. That night you found the wallet. You came home ashamed, but you had done the right thing. That is the boy I raised. This money, this scholarship. It cannot cost you your soul. It cannot make you silent when you see a wrong. What do we do? He asked. She took a deep breath. We do the right thing, again. We tell the truth, all of it. She pointed to the letter. "This is not our secret to keep. It is a cry for help from a ghost. And those people in Cleveland, they deserve the truth too. But Arthur, he'll take everything away." "Maybe," Sarah said. Her voice was strong now. "But we will figure that out. We have figured out harder things. We will be okay." She picked up her phone. She found the number for Michael Shore, the reporter from the Tribune who had first called them. She made the call. "Mr. Shore, this is Sarah Ramirez, Leo's mother. We need to meet with you. We have a story, a very important one." They met him in a small, quiet coffee shop 2 hours later. Leo laid everything out. The letter, the envelope. He told the reporter about Hank Henderson's threats and his offer. Michael Shore's eyes were serious. He read the documents carefully. "This is very serious, Leo. Are you sure you want to do this? Arthur Caldwell is a powerful man." Leo looked at his mom. She nodded. "I'm sure," Leo said. "It's the truth." The story came out 2 days later. The front page of the Tribune. The headline read, "The Honest Boy's Dilemma. New questions about a billionaire's past." The article included parts of David's letter and details from the financial papers. Everything happened very fast after that. The scholarship money was safe. A lawyer contacted Sarah to explain it was in an irrevocable trust for Leo's education. Even with Arthur disgraced, the money belonged to Leo. They would not lose it. Arthur Caldwell did not call. He issued a short statement through a lawyer saying he was stepping back from public life to reflect. He left the city. Leo never saw him again. The police arrested Hank Henderson. They charged him with harassment and threatening a minor. He had followed Leo more times than Leo knew. He had taken pictures. The police found them. The TV trucks and reporters came back to their street for a day or two. But this time, Sarah did not let Leo talk to them. "The truth is out," she said. "Now we live our lives." A week later, Leo walked home from school with Maya. The air was cool. No one pointed at him. No one called him a hero. "It's weird, isn't it?" Maya said. "Not being famous anymore." "It's not weird," Leo said. He meant it. He felt light. The secrets were gone. He counted the cracks in the sidewalk, but he wasn't anxious. He was just counting. That night, his mom used the oven. It was finally fixed. She baked cookies. The warm, sweet smell filled the small apartment. Leo sat at the table, doing his homework on the laptop. He looked at his mom humming in the kitchen. He thought about the wallet in the puddle. That honesty had been simple. The honesty that came after was hard. It was scary. It meant risking everything that was supposed to make his life easier. But the simple honesty had only given him a key to a city. The hard honesty had given him back his home. He closed his laptop and went to help his mom set the table.